Everybody has to press the button. And we're a small group and maybe other people will come in. But this was what our plan was for today. So basically, we have some like news and notes and changing dates and all that stuff. Kirsten was going to, and maybe Rowan is going to talk about the Flax project. We have some volunteer dates. And then we were kind of talk about like writing your artist statement, although everybody who's here right now has already done it. So we can probably just go through that quickly. And then share what we have on our needles or where we're at. Kirsten said that Jelaine is done with her project. Lucky you. So, oops. Maybe we'll start with the Flax project since I put it in the wrong order. There you go.
So how about this? I'll start talking a little, and then Rowan, if you want to jump in, that would be great too. Most of you guys know a little bit about the Flax project, the Chesapeake Flax project. And it's basically been an exploratory group. I almost wanted to call it a study group going in, but it's a group of people sort of loosely organized with the idea of growing and sharing information about flax. And we have probably close to 40 participants in the group, and people are growing small plots of flax, and some people are growing rather large, like half-acre of flax. And we were very inspired by the PA Flax project, which was launched, I guess now 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Square Yard project. What's that?
2020, so 3 years ago.
Okay. And that was just a really lovely project that some of us participated in, and it was initiated by PA Flax and participants grew a plot of flax 36 by 36 and shared information about how the flax grew in different places, and it's really, I think, for us at Chesapeake Fibershed, just a way of starting to initiate conversations about how flax grows in our region and how we might start to think about being more involved in producing linen cloth in some aspect. So to that end, we actually had a flax processing workshop just this last weekend, and Heidi Barr and actually Rowan came and led us in this process of taking our retted flax into a spinnable fiber. And so the picture here is some of the participants arriving with their homegrown flax. And we all had grown our flax, and then we had retted the flax in preparation for the process of preparing it to spin. And there was we sort of arrived feeling a little bit nervous, like, is our flax actually going to be something that we can work with? Is it over retted? Is it under retted? We really had, many of us had experienced flax just by seeing other people process it, but processing it ourselves was something completely new and exciting. So let's look at the next slide. So on the top, this is Heidi Barr, and she opened and talked a lot about the PA Flax project. And then she ran through all of the steps in processing flax, which, it was quite a beautiful process to see the flax go from this hardened stick form into a beautiful, pliable, spinnable material. It was nothing short of magic, and that expression of flax to gold, I mean, or straw to gold just kept coming to mind because if anybody has experienced working with indigo or working with something that has sort of a long process, I think working with flax is very much like that. It just it opens up in this very magical way. It's quite beautiful. So I don't know, Roan, do you want to? Are people interested in hearing about the process of going from the retted flax into the spinnable fiber, or if
I'd
we
like
get
to hear what you mean by Reddit. I don't know what that is.
um,
Sure,
yeah. Do you want to talk about it, Rowan?
sure. I can kind of give the spiel. Um, when you grow flax and you harvest it, we just had a harvesting day yesterday at Nehi Farm, which is one of the co-founders of PA Flax Project's farm. We had a lot of help and we were pulling it out. So you pull it out by hand. It's kind of interesting. The roots are very small and it preserves the fiber. And then the way that we do it is laying it down in the field for like 2 weeks. And it allows bacteria to break down the fiber or the lignins and pectins that like hold the fibers to the stalk and to each other. And so it breaks it down just enough that you can go through all this whole hand process to separate the fibers from the woody core. There's other ways to do it with like it involves water, but there are other ways of doing it where you're like submerging it in water or like misting it or whatever. But so yeah, that's retting. It's sort of an old-fashioned term, as a lot of these are. And then do we have a picture of the break? I don't think we do, but
The back on the lower,
oh
yeah.
yeah, it's there. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like a device that kind of smashes the stalks, and that is to break up this woody core that's in the inside. It's like the pith of a plant that's hardened, and so that will break, but the fibers that are on the outside of it will not break if you've retted it properly, and so the fibers will just pull away and they'll bend, but then the woody core will fall out. And then what Heidi's doing there is just sort of brushing more of the core out. It's called sketching.
And
And
I was just going to say the third picture over that first process is just drawing the seeds off, rippling.
oh yeah,
And then breaking, as Rowan said, is happening in the background. There might be another slide of it, but what I really appreciated in this workshop, Rowan, was that each step of the way, there's this process that helps to, break open the fiber that's within the plant. But everything that falls away from it also has a use, in that there's actually no waste. So rippling, then you have these seeds that can be planted or fed to animals, and then breaking, you have the shive that falls away that can be used for mulch and has other uses. So I really appreciated that holistic vision of using the whole plant.
yeah, I think that's something that people really like about when we show them all this stuff is that there's no reason to waste any of it, and it's all valuable, especially when the dream of the PA Flax project is to have like industrial mills and everything, and so that ends up being a lot of secondary products, and so there's a buyer for all of them. It's kind of crazy. Even the dust, flax creates a lot of dust, to the extent that like people that work in the mills should be wearing like respirators, but the dust is sold as like plaster fill or whatever. It's crazy.
Wow,
That's
that's
cool.
cool.
So I think you could go to the next slide, and there's
Oops, sorry, wait. There we go.
yeah, I love this picture of Ikumi there, and that's the hackle and you can see her throwing her fibers across these metal tines, kind of like Viking combs gone wild. Yeah, so the process of combing it, it seems like, there's a lot of loss, because in the end you end up with this very fine line, spinnable fiber, and then what's coming off on the combs is the tow. And I can't remember the percentage. I'm really glad you're here, Roan, but there's some sort of percentage of like 10% of what you started with is actually that fine, processed or line, which gets processed to linen, and the tow is sort of, and all of the rest makes up 90%. So it's rather dramatic when if it's your first time hand processing on this, with these older tools, to see just yeah, how much flax you would need to create a small piece of cloth.
Can the
Yeah,
tow,
it's 10% is the line, what they call line. So that's like the full length or nearly the full length of the stalk that was grown. And then yeah, there's a lot of toe. And I was at a workshop with Weaver House, which is a weaving teaching place and store in Philly. And she was saying that the way that she buys linen yarn is that it will be labeled as either line or tow. And typically the line is used as warp because it's stronger, and the tow is used as weft. So
Nice.
yeah. I think in probably like very fine linen cloth, they would use line for the whole thing, but sort of on a home scale level, that's another way to use it.
Yeah. Well, so
and can the tow then also be used to like blend with other fibers? Is that what they would use probably?
You can do whatever you want with it. It's sort of like, I think maybe you all would understand it more because you understand wool and staple length more, rather than people that just kind of go into flax without any other fiber knowledge. But like, so it's the idea of like a longer staple length is more lustrous and like stronger than a bunch of smaller staple lengths. So that's why like the super long, it's kind of like how silk is spun continuously. That like very luxury silk is spun continuously. There's no breaking it at all, which creates the shine in the hand and everything. So that's why like the longest line is really prized in that way. But the shorter fibers are definitely usable and way longer than most wool fibers. So yeah, they're pretty. I've been experimenting with blending it that way.
Oh, cool.
and spinning it definitely, I mean, spinning the tow feels, like you said, akin to sort of, a shorter breed of sheep, but it feels easier to my hand being used to wool, as opposed to the line, which feels like, it's tough, it's very strong and sort of unforgiving. So
Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing about spinning flax, especially if you've spun wool, is that it's just so long, and managing that long staple length it takes a lot of getting used to. Yeah. Am I like slow? I feel like I'm seeing my video move slower than how I'm talking.
I think it is
It
a
looks
little.
that way. We just
Okay.
won't look at your lips.
So I don't know if anybody, the other part of having Roan, having you and Heidi and Janelle along, was to hear about sort of the progress of the PA Flax project, because we're not really very far away from from you all, or from Pennsylvania and what's happening there. And I think it's just very exciting. Heidi was talking about working towards this model of a cooperatively shared flax mill, and that's a goal. And that this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are more, and next year more and more farmers and people growing larger crops of flax, sort of moving into to trying out yeah, a larger production, but also the seed trials that are going on too. So that all just sounds really wonderful, and I think it was nice to have that as part of our the sort of framework of our workshop. You know, to really be thinking about how I mean, it's lovely to use these older tools, but to think about how maybe production might be happening someplace close to us soon, and that's super exciting. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know they're called the PA Flax Project mostly just because they didn't want to like bite off more than they could chew, and there's a lot of agriculture in Pennsylvania, but it has always been like a regional thing. Like there's people in, you know, all around us that are very interested, and we don't want to leave anyone out. So um yeah, and I think, yeah, you're talking about the cooperative model. I think for both of the founders, the whole like sustainability as an all-encompassing thing has always been really important. So not just environmentally, but with the community and with the workers and things like that. So yeah, they're building the business out as a cooperative business, which just means like it's owned by its members instead of like a CEO or, you know, profit sharing. I don't know the technical things, but yeah, it's very cool. And yeah.
So the people that were there, did people get enough product to maybe make something small, like I'm thinking of Kathy's washcloth or something like that, something that, you know, could be actually done so locally that it's your own garden and you've now made a product from it.
I think you could, especially if you're making a washcloth.
yeah, I think so too. And there were people that have, for instance, Melanie Ruckel was there, and she's grown quite a bit of flax, which, by the way, was absolutely gorgeous, her flax. And you know, so within the span of the workshop, there might not have been time to process all of it, but at least to learn how to process it. And we were also given sort of tools to like maybe use alternative implements, like you know, that it, rather than having to build a break or build some of these tools. So hopefully all of the flax that people have grown can be processed and used. But yeah, washcloth is a good goal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I wove like a sample that's essentially a washcloth. I don't know if I have the weight of it, but you know, you can, if you measure it in grams and you're like, okay, well that's, you know, comparable to what, you know, you're weighing in grams is helpful to know what you can make.
Right. Awesome. So I know that it's not quite, well, is the project over basically? I mean, are you still having meetings? What's the next steps?
I think we're gonna try and gather some more information from participants, and then we had talked about having a last event, some kind of a gathering. So if we did, I think it would be neat to open it up to the community to come and yeah, and see, participate. I mean, I think this is, to me, it's so exciting. Like I could imagine how this could go into schools and go, you know, I could see how schools might enjoy growing a small plot. And yeah, it's just really thrilling and exciting to be able to you know, work from a seed to
Yes,
plot. Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, might be fun to include some of this with the sustainable cloth celebration, not to
Yes,
do
that's what I
one,
was
but
thinking. It would be nice to have a table there with,
Well, that's a lovely idea. I think that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could turn into just a fiber shed gathering with,
Yeah.
you know, the sustainable cloth project as sort of the centerpiece. But yeah, I know I talked when I was just, you know, eating lunch with everyone. We kept talking about all these different things like natural dyeing and other fiber stuff. And I think these people had gotten into the fiber shed stuff through our flax project, but like there's so much crossover and people just want to collaborate and learn together. So yeah.
Cool. And then, and Jelaine and Roan don't know about this, but we're going down in a couple weeks, I guess, to VCU to give a class to a sustainable fashion class, and maybe we could bring something there too, or at least take the pictures, and that might be part of
Yeah.
some
Mhm.
information for them as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, you guys.
This is
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
I want to see those washcloths.
Yeah.
Marion, I'm actually thinking jewelry after all that work, you know.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
great-
like crochet, linen, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be gorgeous.
Something very special.
Want a hand towel.
Yeah.
I'd buy it for a lot of money.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. We can auction it off. That would be
Yeah.
good.
Wow, this is
Okay. Moving on. Okay, so we've talked about this a lot, but just again, the next times we were together, our date changes because of festivals coming up. So September 17th, October 15th, and then our gathering is going to be on November 5th, and we're doing it in conjunction with Solitude Wool's Farm Day. Sorry, I got that mixed up. At Hidden Springs Farm, which is in Leesburg. And thank you, Gretchen, for inviting us to do that with you.
I'm excited. I'm glad you're coming.
It'll be good because I think, again, there will be lots of people who will find out about the fiber shed, will find out about sustainable cloth, and that will be good. More details will be coming. We probably won't do a full buffet, like full potluck like before, but we'll do something with like savory, little desserts or savory little snack things.
bites.
Where did you
Small
say?
bites.
Sorry,
called-
where did Hidden Springs and where?
It's in Leesburg, right, Gretchen?
Loudon County.
Yes.
Loudoun County. It's right off of 15 near Point of Rocks in Maryland. But yeah.
It's not coming up on Google
South
Maps.
of Point of Rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, south of Point of Rocks. and-
Near Lawrence.
And Gretchen, they raise caracal, is that right? Or
Ooh.
Correct. Yes. Caracal Sheep and Fabioli Vineyards will be doing a wine tasting. There'll be a couple of a spinning class and a Oxford rug punch class, and talking about the breed and different stuff. And they're starting to have, they're going to have fall lambs.
Oh,
So
wow.
that'll be
That'll
fun.
be fun.
Always
Yeah,
love to see
Rowan,
babies.
that's found it under hiddenspringsfarm.com. And it's also, it's sometimes it will say maybe first Hidden Springs Farm Inn or something, because it's also like a B&B, right?
A B&B. Yeah, B&B.
It's just weird. I'm not seeing it come up on Google. Wait. Like there's Hidden Springs in New York and Pennsylvania,
Yeah, no.
but it's .com. Okay, I'll try that. Oh,
Yeah, I
that
think
one
that's-
didn't show up. Hiddenspringsfarm.com is nothing.
Okay.
I just want to know how far away
I
it
was
is.
just there.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Okay, we'll move on and we'll get you the
Yeah.
information. Okay, so upcoming volunteer opportunities, we are going to be at Shenandoah Valley Fiber Fest, and we'll have a table like we had last year, which is kind of where where their information booth is, and we'd love to have people come and staff the table. It's really fun to talk to people because everybody's really interested in. I think we're at a tipping point here, and so we're having a lot of interest in it. And then again at Rhinebeck, we'll have a table there. That Rhinebeck has given the fiber sheds in general a whole building, right, Marion?
Correct. We'll be there with probably 8 other fiber sheds.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you're up there, come by.
Yeah, and if you're going up there anyway, you can just let us know, and you want to sit with us for a while, not me, because I'll be at my booth, but sit with Marion for a while, or relieve the people that are there. That would be fantastic.
I always love to see everybody.
Yeah. And that's such a great fiber festival. Oh my gosh. It's the weather couldn't be better, and it's just really nice. Right, Gretchen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes.
It would be great to have flyers at the Shenandoah one anyway. Rhinebeck might be too far away for the November event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good idea. I will write that in my book.
Yeah, Solitude Wool certainly will. So it's probably, I can send you the information I have, and you guys can sort of flip the order of things so that, it's sustainable cloth first and then also going on.
That'd be great. Thanks, Gretchen.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Mhm.
And as we get closer to being, we'll send you the information about like how to get there and all that stuff. And yeah. Okay, so plans for next year. Gretchen is leading us in a sheep to shawl for the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. And I put contact Ikumi or Gretchen, because Ikumi is like, she's working on the warp already, right? Or making samples for the warp.
Yeah, I'm not part of the team. I'm just there.
You're the
Chesapeake
organizer.
Fibershed is the sponsor, yes. But they've got a weaver now,
Oh, good.
and I think a second spinner. I'm trying to remember. Jelaine is not on the team.
I realized I had to back
but she'll
out.
have to. Yeah. So Akumi's amazing, and she's running with it. So,
Awesome.
but I think it'll be great.
How many
I
spinners?
don't
So
think-
it's one weaver.
I don't know if they're
I'm sorry.
one weaver, one shearer, and 3 spinners.
3 spinners. Okay. And then maybe like an alternate spinner. Is that what, if somebody
Yes,
has to back out or
definitely.
something?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And one sheep.
Do we have a sheep?
And 1 sheep. Not yet.
And we need
Team has to
Find a
pick.
sheep.
Do we have
I
a
think I can help with that. There was talk of either Horn, Dorset, or what else? Maybe whatever it was. I had connections for all 3 breeds, so
Good.
that they were discussing. But I think they don't have a full team yet, and they don't have a design yet, so I think it's a little premature.
Okay.
A shearer, on the other hand, that would be good to have lined up. But
Maybe you should talk to, because Emily has her own team, but what about Kevin? Like he might be there
yeah, maybe.
already.
Is that
Right.
Emily's partner?
That's a good idea.
Do you want me to ask Emily?
Yeah.
He would be
Ask
interested.
Emily. I mean, if Emily wasn't doing the youth team, we would jump at the chance.
Right. And I assume that because she's there, that Kevin would probably be there too anyway.
Maybe,
I'll
unless he's
send-
holding down the fort.
Yeah. I'll ask her.
Ask.
So, Gretchen and everyone really, I think if there's interest, like if there are, 2 or 3 more spinners that come forth with interest in joining, there could always be 2 teams too, right? So just
I think so. One of the things that surprised me is Maryland Sheep and Wool has a limit of 5 teams, I think.
Oh,
So yeah,
Yeah,
there,
5
I don't know. I don't think they had, yeah, so there is a limit.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is-
limited to 5. At least that's what it says in last year's catalog.
I guess that's all
Right.
they have the space for.
And I think that's because, yeah, that was because of the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that should be fun. So more, put that in your thought processes if you want to help out or just come and root on the team. So Sustainable Cloth 2024, we talked about when we had our gathering here in June, we talked about doing something that it would be closer to a make, do, mend. Marion, you want to I could read this, but those are your notes.
Basically, when we talk, we all really want to support local fiber and the growing of local fiber, but we also know that when we look at one of the problems with textiles in our current world, it's that we have so much and so much goes to landfills. So we wanted to think about focusing next year a little bit more about maybe looking a little bit about how we wear our natural and regenerative fibers. What do we have in our closets, and maybe start with a closet inventory, think about what we have, and then spend a year trying to go through all the different ways that you can either upcycle or embellish or reuse what you have or what others have, and focus on that aspect of our sustainable cloth and not just the making. I think there is some making that should be there and belongs there, but possibly take something you have and either bring it into a different form. So that was the focus that we're thinking about right now, and maybe do a whole year of various workshops to learn new skills on how we can make that happen.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And I think it will also bring in more people because not everybody is
Not everybody makes.
not everybody but
Hard
even
for us to think, right?
making in here, but not everybody wants to make from total scratch, I should say.
Right.
Starting from something that's already made could be helpful. And even though there's only 6 of us here, I'm just putting it out there. We're looking for a new leader or 2 people or a small team to take over the project. And we will provide support. So just a couple of leaders that would be interested in 1 or 2 or 3, a little group maybe who would want to take over for us for next year. So talk to your friends, think about it.
Cool.
And then we're getting down to the culmination of the year. And like we did last year, we're going to ask people to submit their work, a photo and a full photo and a detail of your photo, which is wrong. You guys, you were supposed to edit me. My fault. And an artist statement. And like last year, we'll have you submit it on a Google form. I think the deadline is going to be October 17th. That will give us a couple of weeks, even though Rhinebeck is in there. So basically give us a week to kind of organize the submissions. And we need those for 2 reasons. One is we used those statements during the art show last year. So that's what Marion used to, introduce the pieces as we walk the stage. And then we'll use the photos and statements to publish in our blogs for the coming year to celebrate all that we've done. So that's what's coming up. I thought in September I would go through like exactly what is needed for the photos. That was a little bit of an issue last year. There was a lot that needed to be done to fix them. So I want to try to show better how to make good photographs in the appropriate size so that I don't have to do that much more work. So, and it's not hard, and you guys will learn a new skill.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's what we're planning. And then, so in your artist statement and bio, so your bio should be, it's short, it's only like 200 words and basically highlighting your experience as it relates to this project. It's more formal. And so after you say your name, then you're going to refer to yourself in the third person. So for instance, Lisa Check is a fiber artist, yada, yada. Today, she primarily works as an artisan. So, it's more formal, using that third person and talking about yourself in general, not the project in particular. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the artist statement is where you're going to talk about what materials you use, maybe your intention or your purpose for the piece, as well as your processes. And this one needs to fit on, one piece of paper. And that's why I said 250 words, which is about one sheet of paper. And this was about a different piece that, I submitted to a show. But you can see, so it's talking about the piece itself, slave to colors, an applique, pieced and embellished quilt. It's made with hand-dyed cotton. So I'm talking about the process. And then the intention was, do you see your creative expression as a mistress? Does this demand something, And this is, the servant is an archetype. So that's kind of where this thing was coming from. So my dye work demands that I dye every day. I can't see the whole thing, so sorry. Anyway, you're talking about, my creative spirit is busy all the time. Creation of my colorways comes through me in dreams. I have to keep moving this. And the natural world around me, just as enslaved to color, my inspiration comes from the cosmos through my hands and into the fiber I'm dyeing. Through my heart, hands, and mind, beautiful yarn arrives in the world. So your artist statement will be talking about your piece in particular. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So basically, for your piece, we're going to need the 2 photographs, the artist statement and the bio. And next month, I'll walk you through and show you how to fix your photographs. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Now we can see everybody's faces.
I know. So let's see what people are making.
Yeah.
Are you on your way?
Yep, coming.
I can go first.
Okay.
I just recently remembered how close the deadline is, and then I need to get working on this project again. So I've been trying very hard to finish the other half of the yarn that is to be spun and then dyed. So I don't know that I showed my yarn last time. I think I did. I remember showing this on camera. I had made 4 skeins of
Wow.
blue yarn with indigo. This was with a
What's the, I always want to know what the breed is.
Yeah, it's a Tunis.
Oh, nice.
I'm working with a Tunis fleece, hopefully to make a sweater, and then also anything else if I make it. I made a balaclava earlier this year. I started making a pair of socks, and then I finished one and it was totally the wrong size, so I unraveled it. I don't know that I'll get to finish it before the end, but and then I also made a vest last year, and I presented that as part of the presentation. And then I got really honest with myself and I was like, I'm not gonna wear this. So I frogged that as well. So this is the yarn. I might make it into something else, or I'll just present it as yarn because the color is really beautiful. This is black walnut, and it absolutely is not showing up on here, but it's so rich. So yeah, there's that. And then I have, what was it? Oh God, just 2. Was that it, or was there more? I thought I did more. Anyway, I have some finished, and then I also have some on bobbins to be plied. And I suppose I should do calculations to see how many yards I really need. I was just sort of working with like, oh, I'd rather have more than not enough. Because I always feel like I have not enough, but we'll see. I
How
don't want
much
to
of
like
the original fleece do you still have left?
a lot.
Yeah,
A
because you've
lot.
made so much, it seems.
I know. Well, it was a big fleece, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was like 6 pounds maybe.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
Went down to like 4.5 or something after washing. But I recently sorted through it all, and there's a lot that I don't want to spin. And you could spin it, but it's not very great. So I'll use that as like stuffing. And so that kind of cut it down to like a more reasonable thing to use for like sock knitting or something later. So yeah, and then I also like realized that I had this pattern in mind because it was from a local maker, local pattern author, and I was like, I just wanted something simpler. And so that leaves me with like, unless there are some really cool patterns from pattern makers around here, I might just design it myself, which adds another layer of complication. But I have that book that people have recommended before, and I looked through it. This one.
Yes.
So I'll use that as help. And I did the vest, I freehand did that. That was not with a pattern. And it taught me a bit about what that is like, and that, you can make all the measurements ahead of time, but especially if you're working with hand spun, it will not necessarily turn out the way you think it will. So I'm prepared a little bit. We'll see.
Cool.
And thank you. I can hardly wait to see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Me too.
That blue looks beautiful.
I
Thank
know.
you.
And the brown.
I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna overdye.
brown
I was
we've
going
seen,
for
yeah,
black.
that's gorgeous. I thought that was the color of the fleece because it is such a rich brown.
Yeah, it is. It's like that. Yeah, very rich. Yeah, I don't know what ratio I used with the black walnuts. I just put a ton in there and it worked.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great. Shalane, what is your project?
So I'm almost every year I'm going to have something local because I buy a fleece from a local farmer. So I bought a Cory Cross from Lee Langstaff at Maryland Sheep and Wool in 2022. And then I spent the next however many months processing it. I combed it and then spun it. And I've been working on trying to make my yarn lighter, not so heavy and dense that you'll sink to the bottom of the sea with it. And I think I've made progress. It's still a heavy sweater, but this is the McKenna cardigan.
Ooh, beautiful.
So
And
cozy.
I was drawn, and this is natural color. This color is not coming out very well on the camera, but this sheep, the name of it is Flit, F-L-I-T was the name of the sheep. It is a really rich brown. It's like, really, they grow this color?
Mhm.
What I liked about this pattern is the bottom, sort of the waist part, and the lower part is this almost ribbed with some cables and seed stitch. And then just below the bust, it shifts from straight lines to the diamonds. And I really like that shift
Mhm.
Yeah.
to the diamonds. The cable continues through the diamonds. Think you can see?
Yeah.
And the back is the same, and then the sleeves are it's like that again, the ribbing sort of, or ribbed, and then it goes, it's just like one section of it, the outer section of it.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
That's gorgeous.
It was knit in pieces, which I don't normally do, but not anymore. I mean, I used to back in the day, but it's always interesting to sort of return to just knitting something in pieces. And I'm really happy with it. It's too freaking hot to put on, but it's I think by November it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's beautiful. What a nice job.
I
Yeah.
love cables.
I do too. I really do. And I just love the variation in this pattern.
Pattern is really fabulous.
Now,
Tell me the name of the pattern again, Jelaine.
it's McKenna, McKenna. I can't remember if there's an H on the end or not. Cardigan. And I'll tell you, I was surprised on Ravelry that there were so few people who had made it until I got into the pattern. And I will tell, it was really challenging. There were like 3 different charts for the cabling stuff. And it wasn't all on one page. And then while you're doing all the charted work, there's also things like, and while you're doing this at the same time, do this other thing.
Yeah.
And so it was not an easy pattern to follow. So I ended up on chart paper, pretty much charting it out so that I had one place to look at.
So I just pulled it up. This looks so complicated. Just
Here's
incredible.
the deal. Once you get going on it, and once I charted it, it was actually pretty simple. Even in the diamonds,
Mhm.
Once I got through one set,
Mm-hmm.
it was actually fairly easy to, but getting going was tough. And I almost threw up my hands at the very beginning. But it was too beautiful. I had to have so I don't know if I was, I thought originally we were doing this at Lee's place again, but it sounds like we're not going back there. I don't know if she's going to come to the event or not, but I want her to see it. I want her to see what her sheep turned into. You know me, Gretchen, I like to show the shepherds what
I
what
know.
became
I
of
bet if you invite her, she'll come.
Yeah.
I hope she'll come.
Yeah. We've invited her, of course, too.
Yeah. And I don't know, I might have something else by October too. I'm not sure. I spun, and I mentioned this on another call, I can't remember, but Gretchen, you were there. The woman who runs or owns the Waterford General
Mhm.
Store.
Right.
Linda.
Linda Landreth.
Yeah.
Linda, yes.
Linda
So,
Landreth.
yeah, a couple years ago, I bought a fleece from her. And I've spun that, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's lighter weight than this, but that was fun too. So nothing from Tracy this year. I might be done with warbles and East Frisian for a while, but anyway, so that's going to be my entry.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm happy not only with the final product, but my spinning is getting better, which makes me feel better. I love the sweater I made
Very good.
from Gretchen's Romney many years ago, but it's heavy as sin.
Awesome.
Kirsten, Lisa, Gretchen.
I'll go. So,
No.
I'll start with my sweater, I guess. So I have, it's slow. It's just slow. I have divided it. This is the front. I divided it. So, we have sleeves and stuff, and I just need to sit down and do some every day. And I will. So this is Rambouillet, like a bulky weight. It's black walnut as well.
Nice.
And yeah, it's going to be really nice. It's the Ursa pattern, which I made before, in a very, very heavy 3-ply mohair. And I wanted to have something that wasn't quite so heavy. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do the sleeves long or if I'm going to leave them short. And I may just mess around with this pattern anyway. I may not do the bottom as it was done. I may do I'm thinking a feather and fan or something that's more undulating at the bottom instead of the strict columns that the pattern has. So we'll see.
And is this your Rambouillet? Is this your?
It's our farm yarn. It's the fleeces I got from a guy in Pennsylvania. I bought part of his clip.
Okay.
Beautiful rambouillet it was up at the Pennsylvania wool pool, and and Emily was in charge of that, and she kicked back, she kept back some of the fleeces that were just too nice to go to, for 20 cents a pound. And this was part of it. This guy brought in, I don't know, like 400 pounds. I think I bought 100 pounds.
Oh my.
Oh,
So I have a lot of this yarn if anybody wants to see it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
that's great.
But
Kirsten?
it's too heavy to carry while I'm traveling. So
Oh,
so I took a hat to make. So let's see, there's a back and a front. Okay. So I made this hat. It's a little bit slouchy in the back.
that's
Love
cute.
it. Love it.
Yep. And this is all naturally dyed, but it's a borrowing because the madder is not madder from my place, but there's goldenrod madder. This pink is a madder exhaust, and I think there's a little cutch in here too.
Nice.
And it's just a cute little, and this
Very
is polypay 2-ply worsted. Again, I bought that. These fleeces are from Virginia. That I bought this guy's clip. So yeah, it's really cute. I'm happy with
It's
it.
cute.
Where
So
do
I
you,
have one thing done.
where do you send your fiber to be milled or turned into yarn? What mill do you use?
So especially with everything that I have that's fine wool, I have to have it combed, and there's nobody around here combs. So I have to send it to Zeilingers to be combed.
Okay.
But I hate their spinning. They overspin everything. So I take it to another place to be spun. So Zeilinger makes it into comb top, and then I take it to a mill where I like their spinning better.
Great.
Yeah. So it's a 2-step process. So the spinning at least is within our fiber shed, and because there's nobody around that has the combs, it's like, I think it's an exception.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the comb. When you have a fine wool, you have to have it combed. Otherwise you have all those noils.
Oh,
So
Wow. So Zeilingers is the only one that does that, huh?
the only one that I've found, I have never tried any of the places that are New York, they would be just as far as going to Zeilingers, and
Yeah.
Zeilingers knows what I want, and they do a good job with our Cormo and the rambouillet and stuff that I have bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome. Gretchen or Kirsten?
No comment.
I'm with you. It's okay. It's totally good.
Well, I have a sad story.
Uh,
So I've been traveling a lot this summer and carrying my mittens around with me, and I was finishing the thumb on my second pair of mitts and casting on for my third pair, and sadly left my project bag on the plane. So
no.
yeah,
Very sad story.
that was a week ago. So I'm just kind of not yet working because I filed a very detailed lost report with American Airlines, with photographs of the the mitten, and,
Right?
you know, and
I feel like we should put up a missing mitten for it
it's
somewhere.
not just that, it's the lichen dyed skein of yarn.
Oh
Which
no.
probably my most favorite to date. So
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I think it's a lesson in attachment, maybe, and it's okay. So I will cast on and I will continue my project, but it's just for the moment, I'm just like, just gonna give myself a little space.
I can't believe no one would turn that.
I know.
And needles.
Yeah, needles and
And
you know, a little needle case with cross stitch that I made some 15 or 20 years ago. So there's a whole lot of stuff in there, and I detailed everything, but we'll see.
Well,
It was,
I hope it turns
let's
out.
just say it was a really crowded, small plane, and I could just see how it would have popped out of my bag.
Wow.
So sorry.
Yeah, thanks for listening. But I
Oh
hope
my
next
goodness.
month to have a more cheerful story to share.
Wow.
condolences.
Thank you.
Our
You also check at the airport itself.
I did not. That's an idea, but I'm pretty sure it would have been on the plane. But I could
But
try.
sometimes people pick things up off of a plane and then drop it at the airport.
True. Thank you.
They
I
see
would
things left behind.
say, wouldn't it be amazing if, yeah,
It
if
would
I,
renew my faith in mankind if that showed.
Exactly.
it'll make part of the whole project even more nuanced, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Lost mitten.
Marion, you should show your samples of your dyeing the
Oh,
The
it's been such a
fabric.
disaster.
Oh, no.
well, you did the
The
samples.
vest is now gray, but it's a
Great.
very unattractive gray. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well,
But
no, wait, so you had done something with
I
yellow.
did Kutch, Alkanet, and Walnut, and then decided I like the Alkanet. And then this is all new for me. You know, I always watch you guys dye, so I'm at this myself. So I decided on the grayish tone because I thought, wouldn't that be beautiful? But now it's even more drab.
Well, let's
so
look. Can you hold it up again?
Here's the color.
I
It's-
kind of like it.
Well,
I
I'll let you see
like it.
You can wear it. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that.
I think you may be being too critical.
No,
I think it might be beautiful.
I would not go that far, but we'll see what happens. I still have time with that. I still have the quilt coat that I made out of that old comforter, and let's see if I have time for something else, right?
Have you tried, did you say you made samples of it before?
I did.
You could try putting it out in the sun to see how light fast it is.
Oh
And if it's
yeah.
not very light fast, you could sort of bleach your project in the sun.
That's a good idea. I'll probably do that. No, I have little cards showing what it looked like originally.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Important. Then that's the Alkanet, that's Kutch,
Wow.
that's sprayed on indigo from Indigold, and that's the walnut. And the walnut ended up looking very burnt, like it's singed or something. And my guess is because it's an old vintage quilt, it's just taking dye in very odd ways.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
It's
It's all learning. What was it? Was it Nelson Mandela who said, I never lose, I either win or learn.
There you
Oh.
go.
There you go.
Well, I think that it's worth a table, a display, because with those cards, with your
Yes.
because I think it's very fascinating to see those cards, see your final result, you know, what you started with. I think that's incredible, and definitely people
It's
will.
all learning. I'm in awe. Every time you guys show me your projects and what you do, I'm just so in awe. It's like, I need to get back to the felting table. I feel very comfortable there, but I feel like you need to stretch and grow, right?
definitely.
I love that Rowan, am I saying it right? Rowan.
Just one syllable, right?
One syllable, Rowan. I love how you showed us that you pulled your vest out, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know, Mary, that
Everybody has them.
this was a lace and fade boxy from last year that was just so ugly, but the yarn was so expensive that I was
I
not.
don't want to give up on this, right?
So it's gonna become a shawl. But yeah, just you're not alone.
Yeah, this is my sock
Thank you.
that is absolutely not a sock in practice.
Is it
So-
too big or too little?
It's all wrong. It's too
Oh, it's-
big. And then I made the heel very shallow to make up for that. And then once I actually put it on, I was like, this is not a sock.
It's a sock for not a human being for some other
Yeah.
foot.
Yes, for a very different kind of foot. It is a sock.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily over, Marion. I
That's
mean,
right. It's
um,
not over yet.
That's right. It's not over yet. I think, I mean, especially with natural dyes, it's just like this. Yeah, you can,
Next,
yeah. And maybe you want to put it away out of sight for like a week or two and then take it out, just or it's like you want to put it away and go on a trip and then come back because sometimes
that's what I'm doing. I'm leaving on Wednesday to go on a
Yeah.
trip for a week, and then I will be back, and we'll see what I think then.
then sometimes it really comes to you or you really accept it as something that you like because sometimes we project what we want on it and it's not that, it's something else, so it takes a little while to
It
see.
does seem to have a life of its own.
Exactly.
It really does.
But again, I think if you had the right stuff to wear with it, if you had the right color shirt or dress and pants or something, that it would look it would pull it together if you had the right outfit.
Hopefully, I will never own what goes well with it. How it
Oh,
looks.
come on. It doesn't
It's
look that
just-
bad.
just like-
You need a vacation from it.
Okay, I will take a vacation from it.
Report back.
Thank you for the encouragement, all of you.
You
Yeah.
can always over dye.
There's
Yeah.
always over dye, exactly. It's like,
Just
okay, and how
put
much
it
more
in
stuff do I have down there?
You can always put the whole thing in an indigo pot and
Well, that's actually probably where I'm going next. I know you're supposed to harvest your indigo before it blooms to get maximum color, but I've got so much of it out there. I mixed all that wool in with my soil and it's just abundant. So I should do something with it.
good.
Yeah. Well, wow.
Awesome. We're a little bit past the hour, so I'm so glad that you all came. It's been, I mean, even though these ones are small, we always learn so much from each other. I think it's really great.
Yeah, thank you
Always
for
have
having
fun. I love seeing you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry I missed them last time. I think last time I was either busy or in the in-person one. I just I was trying to come and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Life
Well,
is
remember, next time it's going to be a different,
Yes.
it's going to be a different
Okay.
time. And I think it has a different link. So I'll be sending out a new link for that one.
great.
You mean a different day? Is it still at 3?
Yeah, it will still be at 3, but it will be on the 17th instead of whatever the last.
Yeah,
The
the
24th
24th.
or
Well,
what-
that's good because I wouldn't have been able to make it on the 24th.
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Great.
Okie doke.
Getting us together, Lisa.
Good to see everyone.
Bye.
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 Nice.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I stop? Oh, there I go. How to stop the recording. Yes, I'm.